In hospitals, our systems are helping to save lives. Our intelligent data storage provides 24/7 healthcare data services. Doctors can diagnose and treat patients more precisely. Energy powers the world. We safeguard energy production. Our intelligent data storage supports plug-and-play and cloud-based O&M, alleviating the safety concerns regarding your most remote plants. For the financial industry, data flows can provide strong momentum. Our intelligent data storage adopts converged architecture and can help you control risks in real time and target your marketing efforts with enhanced agility, efficiency, and intelligence, sounding the opening chords of the next movement of the Industrial Revolution, the era of smart manufacturing. Our intelligent data storage helps you keep pace with market changes and revolutionize your industry. From the heart of the city to the ends of the earth, let's connect everyone and everything with intelligent data storage. We're here to help you build a fully connected world. Huawei Intelligent Data Storage, born for an intelligent, fully connected world. Now, coming to you.
Let's start.
We are live.
Hello, world.
There's no mistaking when the sunlight's calling. Ready now for all that's coming. You're standing at the edge of all that lies ahead.
Wow.
What did you see?
Mama, a bigger fish.
It's called narwhal. Honey, Daniel said learning is fun.
Oh, Daddy saw your painting. Daddy's black magic will surprise you. Place this order for my son.
Order confirmed.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and to our virtual audience from all around the world, welcome to our session on building a data-centric, green, and trustworthy financial storage foundation. I'm Charlene Lin, and I'm extremely delighted to be here today as your MC for this session. In today's session, Huawei, together with its customers and partners, will be sharing on how to speed up core transactions and productions, protect financial data, and also unleash the value of mass data as more and more financial companies goes digital. Now, to start off today's session, sharing with us on Ocean Store Dorado all-flash storage that accelerates innovation in core financial transaction application, let's all jointly welcome Technical Director of APAC Data Storage, Huawei, Mr. Lin Guanrui. Welcome, Mr. Lin.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. Do let me introduce myself. I'm Ling Guan Rui, Technical Director from APAC Data Center Solutions Department. I would like to thank you for your presence and interest in attending today's session. For the next 15 minutes, I'll be sharing with you how we can help you accelerate innovation of core financial applications in your environment with Huawei OceanStor NAS storage. If you're operating a banking environment, I'm sure you'll be able to relate to this slide. Other than ensuring the smooth running of core banking applications on traditional IT infrastructure, you are also required to operate an agile environment delivering innovative services in the areas of mobile banking, precision marketing, and other customer-centric services that needs to run 24/7. Also, speed to market is becoming a key requirement. Through some of my conversations with many customers, many have shared with me it's now a common requirement to roll out new services in 2 weeks and to roll out application updates weekly. Traditional IT architecture cannot meet the agility and demands for new services today. And many banks will be running what we term a bimodal architecture. Together with a traditional IT environment, a new digital core where new applications and services can be built with faster go-to-market is now mandatory to running your organization efficiently. In Huawei, we are here to help you cope with digital transformation in the finance sector. We have a comprehensive portfolio of storage solutions to meet the needs of the entire range of applications today. That includes our all-flash storage for transactional applications and our distributed storage for massive data analytics. We understand data protection is also a key requirement, and in this area, we have developed our own backup appliance that offers not just fast backup speed, but also blazing fast recovery speed up to 172 terabytes per hour. The ability to restore data fast is the utmost concern on everyone's minds today, and that's because of the prevalence of ransomware today. In summary, what we want to offer to you is the capability to build a smooth-running bimodal architecture powering both core and emerging business, and at the same time, also protecting your most critical asset, your data. For the next few minutes, I will share with you the one key thing to help you build a digital core to power emerging business. So, what's the key technology that's behind the digital core? The answer is actually quite simple. Containers. I think all of us here will have some knowledge of containers. Containers are lightweight, and they occupy less system resources than traditional VMs. They can start up in seconds and are portable among different operating systems. Naturally, they have become the best choice for hosting applications in the digital era. I would also like to share with you some of the key trends we are seeing in containers. In the early days of containers, they are usually stateless in nature. With the containerization of traditional applications that need to store data, the proportion of stateful containers has increased dramatically. Now, what this implies is, instead of storage requirements being transient in nature, they now need to be persistent now. The next thing we have observed is also that containers have moved on from being deployed mainly in development environments as test beds to now reaching maturity and entering production mode. The combination of these few trends that I mentioned results in high performance and reliable storage being a key requirement now. And that brings us to the next part. Now, research done by CISDIC and the CNCF Foundation have also found that containers usage has increased by more than 2-fold over the last 2 years. In the finance industry, what we have also found is 56% of financial applications are now deployable on containers. Containers have now become mainstream, and it is essential to rolling out new banking services. Early on, we mentioned how the proportion of stateful containers has become a key trend. OceanStor Dorado NAS all-flash storage is the optimal storage solution for stateful applications and offers the following advantages. Firstly, by decoupling storage and computing, more efficiency can be achieved. What this means is now you can expand compute and storage independently. This is very different from a typical Kubernetes setup where storage capacity usually comes from direct attached disks within the server itself. On-demand storage expansion is also supported, and this allows for very large-scale container environments. Next, with multi-read-write NAS capability, real-time data sharing is also possible across your different nodes and applications. In addition, OceanStor Dorado NAS provides comprehensive CSI and CDR interfaces. When deployment containers in batches, our NAS storage provides 30% faster deployment than the next best storage available in the market, and allows mounting and unmounting of shared file system in milliseconds. Also, OceanStor Dorado NAS offers the highest performance, highest reliability, and the most secure data storage with our data protection technologies available today. For the next few slides, I'll be elaborating on these features. First, on the performance aspect, which we term everfast. It's commonly known that all storage have multiple controllers for high availability. However, what is not known is that directories and files created by clients are usually only processed by one controller in the traditional NAS storage. As a result, performance imbalance occurs and the processing capabilities of all controllers are not fully utilized in such a setup. We have designed our Dorado NAS to use a globally shared distributed file system, which enables the directories and files created by clients to be evenly distributed across all controllers for parallel processing, greatly improving the processing capability of the file system. You can see in this slide how directories and subdirectories are evenly distributed across all CPUs available on all controllers for processing. This eliminates the possibility of a hotspot if the entire file system is only owned by a single controller. The Ocean Store Dorado also runs on Flash-native operating system, utilizing unique and innovative algorithms known as FlashLink to improve the performance of storage between controllers, smart disk enclosures, and SSDs. By leveraging on FlashLink, Ocean Store Dorado offers twice the compute power compared to the next best performing storage available in the market. Also, FlashLink helps to reduce the impact of disk failure, and we offer the highest data reconstruction time available among all vendors at 15 minutes per terabyte. And finally, by using our AI caching algorithm and optimization of write operations on SSDs, we are able to drastically reduce the latency of storage to as low as 0.05 milliseconds. This slide shows the performance comparison between Huawei Ocean Store Dorado NAS against other vendors in various scenarios that you may encounter in a container environment. In all aspects, whether it's large files, small files, or bandwidth-intensive scenarios, our storage outperforms all competitors by 30 to 50%. We also recognize that reliability is the key concern of all financial customers, and we have put in a lot of R&D engineering into the design of our storage architecture. Ocean Store Dorado has been running stably for the last 13 years, and this is evident by the number of Dorado deployments across 12,000 data centers across the world. At the heart of Ocean Store Dorado hardware design is the industry-only fully connected smart matrix architecture for NAS storage. From this diagram, you can see the following key aspects of smart matrix architecture. You'll find that the front end is actually decoupled from the controllers itself. And you'll find that within the control chassis itself is also connected by very high bandwidth 100G RDMA channels. Back-end modules also follow the same architecture as front-end, and these enclosures can concurrently connect to two controller enclosures. With this full smart matrix architecture, firstly, storage can tolerate failure of 7 out of 8 controllers. This is best in the industry, and no other storage products in the market can achieve this. Secondly, even if a host is connected to the storage via a single front-end link, both microcode upgrade and control upgrade is non-disruptive. In addition to storage resiliency within the storage array, Ocean Store Dorado also provides active-active storage deployment across 2 sites to protect against site failures. In such a scenario, we deploy a distributed global file system across 2 storage arrays to enable all controllers to provide file services simultaneously. Ocean Store Dorado NAS also supports both active-active NFS and SMB file shares failover in less than 10 seconds in the event of a site failure. Again, we are the only vendor in the market who is able to support this functionality on both NFS and SMB protocols. In addition to SMB and NFS protocol we have just mentioned, Ocean Store Dorado NAS is fully featured and supports S3 and NDMP protocols as well. To enhance the efficiency of the storage, capabilities such as deduplication and compression are available. For performance, Smart Cache and QoS features are available. For data protection against user application corruptions, we have snapshots and clones. Security is also a key emphasis for us, and we support RBAC, data encryption, antivirus, worm, audit logs as native features on the Ocean Store Dorado NAS. Ocean Store Dorado uses 4 layers of technologies to protect against ransomware. The first feature we have is ransomware detection, achieved by a self-developed detection and analysis engine running as a container within the storage array. This is based on our own developed machine learning algorithm. The storage array is able to analyze user behavior and file corruption characteristics, generate alarms, and provide client information to facilitate source tracing of the ransomware attack. In our own testing so far, the ransomware detection rate is as high as 99.99%. The second technology we have is Secure Snapshot. With Secure Snapshot, we ensure that data in snapshots are immutable, cannot be modified or deleted within a specific time period, even by a storage administrator. Secure snapshots can be performed at up to intervals of 15 seconds to minimize data loss. Thirdly, we ensure data and transmission across replication links are encrypted. And finally, we can also achieve logical air gap by controlling the timing in which replication occurs. The replication link is automatically enabled and disabled during a predefined window to replicate data from the production zone to the isolation zone. This helps to prevent corrupted data due to ransomware being immediately replicated to the isolated zone. Secure snapshots can also be concurrently implemented in the isolation zone storage for additional protection. In addition, Huawei also provides best application practices and comprehensive interfaces for container interconnection. The figure on the left shows the Dorado deployment speed when 30 containers are provisioned, which is 30% faster than all other storage available in the market. The figure on the right shows the container provisioning features supported on our storage. Huawei has also developed additional features such as QoS, Metro, and multi-tenancy on top of CSI standard to provide richer capabilities and better usability for container applications. And to conclude, I'll just summarize some of the key points I've talked about so far. Firstly, all financial organizations are now running a bimodal architecture to run both traditional applications and innovative applications. Containers is the key technology in use for digital core. Secondly, with containers requiring persistent storage and running critical applications, there's now a need to invest in high performance and reliable storage. And finally, and most importantly, OceanStor Dorado Nest is the platform of choice for container environments. It is the fastest and most reliable Nest storage in the market today. At the same time, it comes with all scenario data protection features to protect against site failure and ransomware. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you for your interest, and I wish you a good evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lin, for your very insightful sharing, as what Mr. Lin had mentioned. Now, Huawei OceanStor Dorado Nest all-flash storage is an ever-fast, ever-solid storage product that accelerates core productions and transactions. Next up, we have our guest speaker who will be providing us insights on storage modernization. So please join me to welcome Head of Technology Operations, BDO Unibank, Mr. Dennis Tangonen. Welcome, Mr. Tangonen.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I can see that everyone seems to be tired already. Me personally, I'm very tired. So I'll make this quick, okay? So again, good afternoon. I'm Dennis Tangonen. I'm the Head of Technology Operations for BDO Unibank. I'm here today to share with you our journey with towards our storage modernization and how Huawei helped us achieve and make this into fruition. Okay. In fact, we're still progressing with this journey, but we're on track to complete this in the next few months. Okay. Just to give you an insight about BDO, we're the largest bank in the Philippines. We are the leading bank in terms of total assets and loans portfolio and deposit base. We also has the large distribution in terms of branch network with over 1,500 branches nationwide and over 5,000 ATMs across the island. In fact, we also have regional presence. We're operating local license in Singapore and in Hong Kong. Just to share, our Singapore branch is fully operating in the cloud. We are also a consistent recipient of numerous global and regional awards for the past few years, testament to our leading presence in the region. Okay, but despite of our dominant position in the industry, In fact, we're 40% larger than the second largest competitor in the Philippines. We are actually cognizant of the fact that what brought us to the pinnacle of success in the Philippine market will not bring us or propel us to the next level. We do not want to be the next Nokia or the next Kodak, so to speak. So we are aware that there's a lot of disruptors around, and the competitors, which is aside from the traditional bank, we're also aware that the threats from the fintech, the digital banks, and of course the big techs, right? And for us, we need to be always 2 steps ahead of the competition. And the only way to do that is to continuously improve our customer experience, right? Okay, so what are the things we're doing in the transformation space? Okay, these are not, we are in the midst of a large-scale transformation program. We started that journey 3 years ago, and the objective is to really improve the customer experience. It's really all about customer centricity. And let me share with you some of the things that we're doing. In terms of infrastructure, these are really foundational. In order for us to really penetrate the digital space, we are cognizant of the fact that we really need to modernize our core, our infrastructure. So we started our cloud journey 3 years ago. In fact, today we are actually 40% of our footprint is now in the cloud. We're operating in the public cloud. We have a multi-cloud strategy operating with AWS and Azure. We're also exploring Huawei to have an on-prem private cloud, Huawei private cloud in our data center, right? We also progress to improve our network infrastructure. Paul shared a while ago that we embark on a large-scale network transformation program, particularly implementing SD-WAN, software-defined wide area network, to enable our branches to access directly our SaaS platform in the cloud and also our workload in the cloud. So we're also doing a lot of SDN initiative right now. And of course, the storage modernization, which I will be sharing in a while. Okay, in terms of platform, these are also foundational. In fact, we implemented around 15 foundational platforms in the last 18 months or in 24 months or so. Core of this is our API banking implementation, right? And we also implemented some of the core platform like CRM, MDM, and identity and access management and the likes, right? So that's really essential for us to really implement digital applications. And we also did a lot of modernization in our end-to-end customer journey program, particularly unifying customer experience. So we did a lot of digitizing of forms in our branches, automating KYC and the onboarding process across all channels, right? And lastly, we also implemented a new operating model, right? These are service delivery life cycle to enable us to implement fast delivery of service, faster implementation of application, right? We upgraded our people skills, right? We send them to a lot of cloud trainings and digital trainings. Of course, strategic partnership with international and local SIs in the region. Okay, and core to our strategy also is the cybersecurity, right? Philippines has the highest phishing attack in Southeast Asia. And as the leading bank in the Philippines, we're also the leading target, right? So we did a lot of implementation in terms of, the detect and protect capabilities for the last 18 months. And we're beefing up our response and recover initiative, right? Truly to fortify our perimeter security. Okay. In terms of storage modernization, this is actually I think, a common strategy for all the banks across the region. Let me explain our old or current setup, right? Our current storage architecture is very much siloed and distributed. Our bare metal servers has direct attached storage. Our application clustered servers comes with dedicated SAN storage, so it's very siloed in nature. And our virtual private cloud has its own storage cluster. So the disadvantage of this setup are the following. So limited agility, you cannot allocate storage and allocate resources to other workloads, right? And poor management, of course, there's no central monitoring to manage storage resources across, right? And there is no to limited redundancy within and across storage clusters. And it's very hard to do active-active setup and hard to do storage replication, right? Due to this distributed nature of setup, right? And of course, we are also encountering resource challenge because multiple personnel are managing multiple storage clusters, right? And lastly, it's very costly, and it can result to over-provisioning because of course, long lead times, right, if you buy storage, and inefficient capacity planning due to lack of central monitoring capabilities. So what we did is we transitioned to a new architecture. So it's technically a storage as a service model. So our new storage architecture is storage as a service, wherein storage is available for consumption of any workload, not only bare metal servers, not only the virtual private cloud, clustered application, but also hybrid requirements, right, from the public cloud. So this is not a new concept. In fact, we're doing this for the last 10 to 15 years across industry, but the only difference now is we're now dealing with large data sets, the likes of large data analytics with very high demand of capacity and IOPS, right? So the advantage of this setup are the following. So agility, capacity is available and can be provisioned and deprovisioned on the fly, right? So it also reduced data center footprint as a result of consolidation. And aside from that, it also environment friendly. It aligns well with our corporate social responsibility. So high availability, we're able to maximize storage array capabilities within and across storage clusters, right? And it brings centralized monitoring, wherein you can easily detect and respond to performance bottlenecks across the clusters, right? Lower cost because it progressed to a pay-as-you-use model, and centralization means just-in-time ordering and accurate capacity planning, right? And lastly, we are able to maximize resources because instead of multiple people managing multiple storages, it's now centrally managed. Okay. So in summary, from a very traditional siloed, distributed, and inefficient storage architecture, we now gravitate towards a more centralized and intelligent storage management architecture, which bring more operational and cost efficiency for us and will help us realize our objective of improving our customer experience. Okay, so partnering with Huawei. So why Huawei? Okay, so we choose Huawei because Huawei has a superior product and solutions that are resilient and stable. That's very important for us, especially that we're running a critical banking application. Huawei has an outstanding cost-to-performance ratio. Price is very much reasonable and competitive while you get the best performance and superior performance. And lastly, the support we're getting from Huawei is exceptional. We're actually getting the highest quality of support from not only Huawei, but their partner ecosystem in the Philippines. Okay. So in fact, about 70% of our storage footprint is now with Huawei. Okay, so the key takeaway here is coming up with the right architecture and choosing the right technology and partner is essential to any storage modernization initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tangonan. Thank you for the interesting sharing, and thanks for keeping it short but impactful. Now, next, our speaker will be telling us about how all-scenario data protection safeguards against financial data centers. Now, put our hands together. Let's welcome Senior Solution Consultant, Data Storage, Huawei, Mr. Chen Yuyi. Welcome, Mr. Chen.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Well, again, it was the kind of impactful sharing that shared my colleagues earlier, so I hope that it actually keeps everyone enjoyed at the moment. And I'd like to keep it short and simple. Again, it's a late afternoon. All right, again, well, it's my pleasure here to be here today to share about what all scenario data protection can safeguard financial data centers. I would like to share some of the innovative solutions and products from Huawei. All right. Okay, so the proliferations of the social media today actually drive the changes of lifestyle today. And we see that more and more people are getting connected today. And that is also one of the driving factors driving the digital transformation journey for the banks today. So as you can see from the slides, right? All right. So from the traditional finance, okay, we are moving into a mobile finance, and eventually moving into all scenario finance, and now is ubiquitous finance. So the changes of the lifestyle driving the digital transformation of the banks today, and that also leads to one of the phenomena that we're looking into, the tremendous increase of the data we need to process, we need to store, and we need to protect. All right, that's become an imminent challenge today because that brings changes to the service models, the decision models, the business scenarios, as well as the business model. All right, so with the changes of the lifestyle, with the proliferation of the social media, and with the tremendous growth of the data that we foresee to come, and not forgetting the traditional challenges that we see along the way since the history back, for example, natural disasters, viruses, software and hardware failures, and human errors inevitably become amplified too. Global climate changes, okay, are bringing more natural disasters, all right? And, well, hackers are never fail, so they come out with more viruses, especially my colleague Wanri earlier has shared about the more imminent attacks are being observed on the ransomware. And then, of course, okay, not forgetting software and hardware failure and human errors inevitably unavoidable. So all these are become one of the main challenges to can we actually keep our data intact, protected, and preserving the integrity. So next one, all right, so let's take a look at one pretty shocking statistics about ransomware damages. So if you can see from the slides, right, the largest extortion sum to date that we ever encountered in ransomware attack, $70 million. Shocking, all right? And as you can see that there are more of the statistics shown on the slides, for example, right, an average of 16 business days for system downtime. Imagine in the banks today, with more and more kind of new offerings in the digital transformation journey, especially digital finance offerings that you're offering to all your consumers, your customers, even a day of the downtime is intolerable. What's more, you are taking 16 days to even recover your business, right? So, and of course, right, if you take one more statistic shown there, average total cost of recovery for a single ransomware attack is averaged out, okay, to 1.85 million. Not forgetting the time that you need to recover the business. So it is, in fact, a shocking statistics, and of course, none of us want to be part of these statistics. All right, so what Huawei has to offer here is by realizing the change, the trends in how banks embark in the digital transformation journey, as well as the challenges and the risks that we are facing. And after evaluating the statistics, what are the impacts that will bring about to the bank business? So we look into the all scenario data protection that attempt to safeguard the financial data centers. For example, from the infrastructure perspective, we know that, okay, in keeping the data intact is most important. Traditionally, we have production data centers, we have DR centers, but in Huawei, we take this a step further. If you look at the slides, right, yes, you will have the local production data centers, and then you have intra-city data centers that still conform to that setup of a production and DR. But we even look into having another setup, another design for remote DR centers. If you can see that, right, while you're keeping a local backup within your local production data centers, yes, we keep a 2 copy of it, 1 layer protection. Then we replicate the data over to the DR, right? You keep another copy of that. So now, and if you know that the data are really, really important, then we actually suggested that probably another copy to the remote DR centers. So you're actually keeping a different copies to alleviate the level of protection towards your data. And with that in mind, right, okay, let's just focus back on the production and the DR. Right. In this kind of formation, right, we actually advocate an active data center solution to ensure zero service disruption. So if you can see from the slides, right, between the SAN or the nest in your production data centers, the first layer of the replications are actually put in place, right? Those data are being replicated from production towards the DR side. That's number one. If you look at number 2 at the bottom, that actually shows that there's another layer kind of technologies or kind of features they put in place to enforce the performance or reinforce the performance in protecting the data. In this case, the fast write protocol actually optimized and improved the performance by 25%. Yes, we replicate the data, but we want to improve the performance eventually in even writing and protecting the data. And the third one, of course, maintaining the active load balancing and nearby resources access. And not forgetting, right, while we're replicating the data, we want to make sure those data are being replicated fast, okay, in high performance. As such, right, in the solution that we provide, just like, okay, what we have shared earlier, my colleagues as well, we actually came out with a gateway-free active solutions. As opposed to most of our competitors' products or solutions, right, they need to have a gateway in between 2 sites, and that actually creates another hop for those data before it being replicated across to the other sites. So, and the fifth one I'd like to bring your attention will be the latest innovations that Huawei brought into the entire data protection scenario, which is the storage optical connection coordinations. Now, I'd like to bring that into the next slide, give you a little bit more insight on that. All right, so as we know that the connectivity is set up between 2 data centers, between production and the DR centers, right, you have the connectivities. Conventionally, right, there will be different type of connections that can be set up. But in banks scenario, right, we notice that most of the time the connectivities are set up are using optical fiber connection. In this case, we call it DWDM, dense wavelength, okay, division multiplexing. So this is a technology utilizes on the spectrum within the optic to transmit the data. Now, meaning that, put it very simple, in this particular line, you have a different spectrum within that particular optical fiber connectivities. So each spectrum representing one of the channel you're transmitting the data across. Now the question here is, now, no matter how we actually putting the data protected in one side and another side, we need also to look into preserving the integrity of the data, ensuring that during the transport, if anything's happened, that particular kind of data transmission can be recovered fast. So in this case, right, in this SOCC solution, right, so what Huawei envisages is to enforce a particular high-speed checking. In this case, we call it the arbitration of finding out whether the particular spectrum is actually active or having some issues. So in this particular arbitration, conventionally, it might take up to maybe minutes. But within the SOCCs, right, we improvise the kind of arbitration. In this case, if you look at the benefits shown here, the link switch over within seconds doesn't interrupt the services. So the arbitration that we look into is actually 70% faster as compared to the conventional method. So once the arbitration actually dictates one of the particular spectrum or the channel actually having some issue, it actually will switch over to the next available spectrum and preserving the I/O. In this case, switching over, we also improvise that, okay, comparing to the conventional way, it is 90% faster. And most importantly, by enforcing the intelligence and also the Huawei device machine learning algorithm into these particular solutions, it actually helps to put up, okay, a quick fault demarcation between the storage up to the optical devices connecting to the DWDM. All right, so in this case, with this SOCC solution, we are attempting to guarantee zero financial transaction failures in between two sites. And of course, right, that is from between two sites, one of the solutions that we put up. Now, not forgetting that, okay, the fundamental infrastructures that we're actually supporting the backup as well, right? So in this case, Ocean Protect is an enterprise-class benchmark backup storage. As we know that backup forms one of the part of the DR solution. So in this backup storage, we are focused on three main factors. Number one, rapid backup and rapid recovery. Now, you know in the conventional O&M, one of the key challenges in most of the IT operation team today is, can I have a shorter backup windows? Now think about what I mentioned just now, that with the proliferation of social media and in introduction of a new digital finance offering to your customers, you probably foresee there will be a tremendous increase in growth in the data. Now that actually adds on more stress to how can I actually keep those data backup within a controllable time frame. So keeping the backup window as short as possible is always what everyone or what every IT operation team trying to achieve. And in this case, the Ocean Protect backup storage here, we build it on top of our Dorado technologies, right? Leverage on the rapid performance features, right? It helps to enforce the rapid backup. And of course, in the event of the disasters, if let's say in the event of data loss, all right, to most of the business services in the banks, you always envisage and what required a good RTO and RPO. In this case, you're looking for RTO perspective, we wanted to make sure that those data can be recovered, can be restored fast as well. So in this case, okay, Ocean Protect backup storage not only enforcing fast backup, but it also tries to advocate fast recovery as well. So now that is on the backup and recovery portion. Now, in addition to that, right, as I mentioned just now, when data grows, you need to make sure that to find out an effective way to keep those data in place. And of course, we do not really want to keep like expanding the storage indefinitely, seeing that how can we find a more effective solution to store those backup data. So we have the effective data compression, all right, and a deduplication kind of algorithm helps to compress the data to a 72:1 ratio. So this is actually the maximum ratio that we can achieve to help to compress the data, and it helps to save the space required within the storage to store those backup data. And finally, high reliabilities, and with the Ocean Protect backup storage, it actually works hands in hands, okay, with most of the predominant market backup software vendors, which enforces the anti-ransomware features. So with this in mind, right, okay, it actually enforces the end-to-end data protection. So I'd like to bring to the next slides where in addressing the ransomware protection storage solutions, right, Ocean Store Dorado and Ocean Protect works together, defense against a ransomware attack. As my colleague Wanri has shared earlier, that in Ocean Store Dorado, we actually put in a certain algorithms inside there to detect the patterns of the data access. So in this case, if you look at the slides here, right, on the production area where Ocean Store Dorado are mainly being used. So in this case, right, there are some pre-configured blocking library, right, to block the known ransomware attacks. That is the algorithm that we built into to detect the ransomware attack. All right. Then, of course, we have the second level secure snapshots that is helped to fend off in case that particular ransomware attack can be intercepted, okay, at one level before it actually moves to the next one. And of course, right, for the backup area, that is where the Ocean Protect comes into play. In this case, the secure snapshots and the worm stands for write once, read many, and immutable features that prevent the further changes that is on the data that is affected by the ransomware, helps to protect the data further, right? And of course, finally, right, third, which is the last level, being the last bastion, the isolation area. So that is the last place where we implement the air gap technologies to actually control the access of the data in between different areas or different sites. So in this case, either Ocean Store Dorado or Ocean Protect can be the other additional storage area to keep the last copy of the backup data. All right. So in between, there are a few levels you need to go through before the ransomware can reach the last stage. Okay, so before I actually coming to the end of my presentations, okay, this is one of the last Chinese bank in China recently that they actually employs Huawei Ocean Protect as the backup storage as for the solution. They have been actually experiencing a lot of a challenge with the conventional, traditional tape libraries, using VTL tape libraries and so on. And to them, they find it that they wanted to make do away of the tapes. And they wanted to enforce a faster backup, okay, faster recovery, and they actually chosen Huawei Ocean Protect as the solution to actually revolutionize, I would say to modernize the current backup infrastructures. All right? So before I end my presentations, I'd just like to conclude that Huawei Ocean Protect backup storage provides rapid backup, rapid recovery, effective data compressions, and high reliability, forming the solid foundation as a part of all scenario data protection to secure financial data center. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cheng, for your very informative sharing. Now, data as the core production factor needs all scenario, all types data protection around the clock. Our next speaker will be sharing with us on how Ocean Store Pacific Distributed Storage unleashes the value of mass financial data. With that, please join me to welcome on stage Marketing Director, Scale Out Storage Products, Huawei, Mr. Zhang Wei. Welcome, Mr. Zhang.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zhang Wei, Huawei Distributed Storage Marketing Director. Today, I'm very glad to take this opportunity to share Huawei Distributed Storage with you. There is no doubt we are living in the era of data explosion. We need to unlock the value of mass data. As we know, financial service has moved from traditional counters to mobile payments. For example, the out-of-counter transaction rate of banks in China will exceed 90% by the end of this year. This transaction generates massive amount of unstructured data, such as audio, video, files, and so on. Data growth will exceed 90%. This massive amount of unstructured data has become the most important driving force in the financial industry. The massive amount of unstructured data need to bring value to us. So big data analysis technology has been widely used, which can help customers to make real-time decisions such as real-time risk control, precision marketing, and so on. It can make the management simple and smart. So this requires the storage compliant data sharing and data currencies of data warehouse and data lake for financial industry. On the other hand, transaction-based data are very important for financial customers. So according to the law requirements, the data rotation of transaction bills has greatly increased from 3 years to 13 years or permanent. And this data also need to be accessed anytime, anywhere. So it requires storage should supply high scalability and high reliability. I just introduced the trends and problems of financial industry. Now, Ocean Store Pacific is coming. In the financial industry, Huawei Ocean Store Pacific comprises different kinds of hardware models based on your requirements, and it can bring certain benefit to you. The first is that efficiency for hybrid workloads. It means you can access the storage with different protocols. Second, it can provide optimal ROI based on our high visual EC algorithm and our high density hardware. Third, what's more, always on service based on our active solution with cross-site EC technology. As we know, financial service has become more diversified. It means maybe you need to buy maybe you need to access the storage data with a different storage protocols. You may need to buy different storage device to meet your requirements, which makes the management complex. For example, from the left picture, we can see that the object storage uses a flat indexing structure, where the file system uses a twin indexing structure. However, the number of files is limited. Now, Ulster Pacific built a converged link space and metadata indexing structure to achieve multiple protocol interworking. No gateway required, no performance loss. Obviously, hybrid workloads come with different I/O models, such as big files with big I/O, big files with small I/O, small files with small I/O. Based on the flexible processing technology of large and small I/O, Ulster Pacific can provide high performance for hybrid workloads, such as large I/O directly written to the storage layer, greatly improving the bandwidth capability. Small I/O aggregate at the cache layer before being written. In addition, a certain report shows that Ulster Pacific can achieve 2.4 gigabytes per second and 10,000 TIPS is all 3 times higher other than Windows. Okay, efficiency is important. Optimal ROI is also important. You must require optimal ROI for your investment. Data storage costs increased along with your data growth. In terms of storage space utilization, Ulster Pacific uses 3K technology, such as industry-leading EC technology and high ratio and high-density hardware design. Further reducing TCO in large-scale data scenario. Huawei has also launched a high-density product, Ulster Pacific LAN 550, with 120 disks in 5U space. The disk density is 20% higher than other vendors. Obviously, it will space for customers in big data application and data backup and archiving scenario in financial industry. As well, emerging data scenario also need a high-quality data source anytime, anywhere. So first, Ulster Pacific enable users to deploy multiple active data centers for disaster recovery. It can reach up to 12 data centers and provide service at the same time. If one or two sites fail, service keep going. In this case, the overall storage space utilization is still up to 61%, which is industry leading. And in one site, Ulster Pacific can tolerate the maximum follows failure without any service interruption. Both the storage device and the solution layers provide extremely high reliability for your service. Okay, that's all about the 3 key highlights of Ulster Pacific. Next, I'd like to introduce its best practice in financial big data and mass data backup and archiving scenario. As we know, business intelligence, precision marketing are typical application scenario of big data in the financial industry. Huawei Ulster Pacific uses 3 key technologies to meet these requirements. First, it can achieve the storage and computing decoupling, which enable on-demand resource expansion, thereby reducing cost by more than 30%. Second, Ulster Pacific can converge the formats of data warehouse and data lake, reducing data copy, so the data querying efficiency is greatly improved. Last, Ulster Pacific enable intelligent takeover existing storage cluster, protecting customers' investment. Nowadays, transaction traceability and instant access is very important for customers. Huawei also Pacific provide high scalability and availability for that to help customer to unlock the value of mass data. First, the storage support 100 billion objects per bucket with stable performance. Secondly, query results return in seconds based on customized indexing design. Last, we can deploy multiple active data center for disaster recovery with cross-site EC technology. Finally, let's go over two successful cases to show how Ocean Store Pacific can help customers to bring value. The first case is about famous commercial banks with 18 branches in China. There is a serious problem with its big data platform. It takes a long time to generate a report and influence the customer to make a real-time decision. Then the bank work with us to get two benefits. The first benefit, the data analysis time is reduced to just 2 minutes. Second, data migration between the data lake and the warehouse is decreased by 13%. Next, let's go over another successful case. ICBC Asia is the overseas business flagship of ICBC and one of the Hong Kong local important banks. However, ICBC Asia's existing storage has two critical issues. The first issue, the low query efficiency. The other is the unstable access speed. By deploying Huawei Ocean Store Pacific object storage for their electronic statement system, the customer has got three benefits. The first one, fair data capacity shift, improving the capacity utilization by 47.5%. Second, batch file processing time is decreased from 150 millions to just 36 millions. Last, two data centers are deployed, one in Hong Kong, one in Shenzhen, to implement active disaster recovery for high availability of mass data. Okay, that's all about the Ocean Store Pacific storage. We hope we can help more customers to embrace lower costs and the mobility opportunity faster together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chang, for your insightful sharing. Huawei Data Storage has been working closely with partners to move forward for shared success in diversified business scenario. Next, we are pleased to invite our partner from Asia Pac, who will be sharing with us his personal experience in facilitating enterprise in the resumption of the critical functions and services in a prompt manner in the event of destructive cyber attacks. Let's put our hands to welcome Head of Pre-Sales, Asia Pac Technology, Mr. Jackie Wu. Mr. Wu, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me. All right. So really thanks, Huawei, for this honor to be able to share with the crowd here today. I'm Jackie Wu. I'm the head of pre-sales within Asia Pac Technology. In fact, I've been in the ICT industry for about 20 years, supporting primarily in the government sector and in FSIs in Singapore. Right. So today, I just want to take some time and share with you the experience that Asia Pac has with secure tertiary data backup. Right. But before I go into the topic itself, who is Asia Pac? Right. In case you do not know who are we, right? We are a system integrator here in Singapore. In fact, for the past 3 years that I've joined the company itself has grown tremendously, and we have today about 380 employees, right, who are passionate in reaching out to our customers, engaging them, and really, providing the solutions, right, and to their pain points. But even more than that, as you can see from the slides above, all right, we are also ISO 27001 certified, because we believe as a company, right, that securely handling your information or customers' information is paramount, right? And you can see from there the different awards and partnership that we have in the industry itself, right? That shows how closely we are with our partners, and at the same time, bring that partnership to our customers. Right, just to quickly share a few of the use cases that we have with our wins with Huawei today, all right? Number one, it's a secured modern workplace transformation, really a VDI solution with one of the banks here in Singapore, all right? And that is primarily because of the COVID situation where their banking staff need to work from home, all right? And with this VDI infrastructure, we're able to quickly deploy, all right, and enable 8,000 plus staff to quickly come aboard, accessing the core banking application securely, right, and in a controlled manner, right? Second, right, we also have won a project, right, with another bank here in Singapore today, right, really, which is the crux of what my message is today on secure tertiary data backup, all right? And this is really a range of Huawei products that we see that they are able to supply, you know, to really power and enable the use cases we have today. All right, now going deep into the message I have today. So what is secure tertiary data backup? Right, it's really a guideline, a policy that the Hong Kong Association Banks has issued in last year in April or May, right? And it basically talks about ensuring and preparing the banks, you know, to really recover their operation in an event that there is a destructive cyber attack, all right? And in that sense, what does it encompasses of? It talks about the critical functions, it talks about the services and the systems. Right, as you can see from this high-level diagram that everyone can actually Google in and look at, because these are all guidelines from the different, from the 4 big consulting companies, right? But I just want to bring into attention into the 9 characteristics that is highlighted. Number 1, immutable, right? What do we mean by immutable? Right, it really was what the different speakers have talked about. Write once, read many, all right? Where when the data has been written into the storage, there is no way that any other actors, all right, be it even bank staff or malicious actors that are able to corrupt the data and change the data, right? Second, survivable, all right? Now, what do we mean by survivable here? It really talks about if in the event the production data center is down, all right, how can I have in this case, a tertiary and a secured data backup or a data storage storage that we are able to restore and to really quickly allow the bank to resume operation, right? Third, air gap. All right, I think that's really a no-brainer, right? This particular guideline really talks about physically and or even logically separate this environment so that even if, let's say today, the malicious actor comes in and attack your production systems, all right, they may not be able to come into your air gap environment and to retrieve or to corrupt the necessary data. Number 4, secure, all right? So what do we mean by secure? I think it's really a standard practice within the bank system, right? Where we have our necessary firewalling, we have our necessary log management, control system where we know that if a staff or even an external actor that comes in, right, the different activities are being logged, are being tracked. Number 5, control. Right, really, we are talking about, because it is a tertiary and it's a secured data backup, all right, or the secured environment would then therefore be that you are not allowed to change the data, but yet at the same time, even if you do change them, what are the different measures that brings in to allow you to know that, hey, this data has been changed at this juncture by who and who? verifiable, all right? Every data that comes into the secure tertiary environment needs to know that there is a place where a scanning has been done, all right? A removal of maybe an active content, maybe it's a malware that has been done, and this has been recorded, right? Why is that so, all right? Because in every bank, right, there must be users that say that, hey, I have active content, maybe I'm running a VBA script, right? It may be considered an active content within the control. And the system may have inevitably removed this content, and now it becomes unusable. So obviously, the end user will start to complain, hey, I'm not able to do my stuff. I'm not able to do operation. What am I going to do, right? So with that, logs, right, we are able to know, right, whether this data has been flagged as malicious, whether it has been removed, and in the event if the end user says that, hey, this content, this particular file, I need it back because I need to do a job out of it, right? We are able to restore it back as well. Number 7, assurance, okay? I think in a bank, even in a DR scenario, there's no way for anybody to say that, hey, I'm going to press a button, right, without any authority, DR happens. So likewise, all right, in a SCDB environment, right, no one, unless approved, all right, and authorized, could the secured data be restored back to the users, all right? Number 8, heterogeneous, all right. Now, this is one of the guidelines that talks about having a different set of technology. For example, all right, today we have our tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 firewalling. Would we want to use the same firewall in a banking environment? Probably not. Why is that so? Because sometimes there might be bugs in this particular brand, all right, and the bug has not been resolved. So how can a bank protect itself from the next layer of attack, all right? So typically what the banks, at least in Singapore, does is I have brand A in my tier 1, brand B at my tier 2. It really helps to segregate and create a layer of protection across the banking system. So likewise, you know, in the SCTB guidelines, having a heterogeneous environment basically means that you may have another set of backup software, all right? Maybe another set of firewalling that really protects this air-gap environment today. Last but not least, high performance, all right? This is one of the, I will use the word key criteria or critical consideration within how you're going to do the solution, right? What products or what integration need to be done within this solution, right? Why? Because this talks about passively in a parallel form scans and access and ingest the data, all right? So meaning to say, if let's say a particular product, right, that is in the banking environment today, right, needs to run through the scan and run one file at a time. So maybe at the point of time, you might want to consider that, hey, this may not be the right solution. Why is that so? Because end day, right, when there's a destructive cyber attack, what you need to do is to quickly get the bank back up and running, right? So if, let's say, for example, in order for you to restore back the operation and you still need to do one scan at a time, I think even the CIO will not even approve the solution overall, right? Now, with that consideration, right, I just want to share what we did for one of the local banks here. This is a very high-level diagram, all right, but so bear with me, all right? Now, the entire solution is broken up into 3 different quote-unquote rooms, all right? We have on your right, on your left, the data staging room, the data clean room, and the data vault room, all right? In this particular solution here, all right, the bank has determined that the data vault room will be the final air-gap solution, all right? So what it means that today my data staging room would have a set of storage, all right, that will consolidate all the necessary data that has been classified that, hey, I need this to be in my data vault eventually, right? Going into the consolidated storage, it will go through a process of analyzing it, all right? That's where our scanning technology has been integrated in line, all right? Where the files are being scanned, and at the same time, we will actually do a sanitization of that files, all right? Now, how do we do a sanitization? Essentially, it's really, think of it like a package. We open up the package, we scan through the internal contents, remove any active contents, repackage it back, and send it in. And that is how the processing works, all right? Now, because of that requirement, right, the storage itself that you see from here, provided by Huawei, it's actually the all-flash array, because we really need that high IOPS, high performance to perform this scanning. And of course, after scanning is done, right, the final document or the final file, all right, is safely sent into the Ocean Store Pacific, where it's an object storage, where the worm technology has been enabled, where it's write once and read many, right? So once it is safely in the data vault, all right, in the event when a bank says, hey, I need to activate because I have a massive bank-wide attack, I need to restore back my bank operation, this is the data that is ready because it is already classified as safe and ready to go, right? So this is, on a high level, what our solution has, and it's in the bank today. And how this is, and why Huawei was really in this solution today, right, is simply because they are able to provide every other product that is in their portfolio and cater to each of the use cases that you see in this different vault rooms sorry, the different rooms that is being classified here. All right, so that being said, I would like to end my session. Just want to thank you for your time once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wu, for your very valuable sharing. Now, with that, we have come to the end of today's session. To meet diverse data application needs in the digital era, Huawei Data Storage is committed to build a data-centric, trustworthy storage function, and also for smarter and greener finance. Now, to our virtual audience, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you at our next event. I'm Charlene Lin, wishing you a great day, and please stay safe.